very good morning. You're watching Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's start with the headlines straight away. First phase of polling underway in 65 constituencies in Assam and 18 in West Bengal. 672 candidates are in the fray in both states. India and Saudi Arabia signed 5 MOUs, including that of exchange of intelligence. Prime Minister Narendra Modi conferred with the highest civilian honor by Saudi king. NIA officer part of terror probe against Indian Mujahideen shot dead in Uttar Pradesh. Probe agency calls it a planned attack. Joint investigation on. Officer's wife also injured in the attack. Jammu and Kashmir to get its first woman chief minister today. Mehbooba Mufti to be sworn in. Farooq Abdullah and Omar Abdullah to attend the ceremony. Congress, however, will skip the ceremony. And twin celebrations for the West Indies as their men's as well as women's teams lift the World T20 trophies. Well, our top focus today. Polling is on for assembly elections both in West Bengal and Assam. Time for our segment, Verdict 2016. So the first phase of polling is being held in 65 constituencies in Assam today. A total of 539 candidates are in the fray in constituencies spread across eastern, northern and southern parts of the state. Over 95 lakh voters are expected to cast their votes to decide the fate of these candidates that include 43 female candidates. Polling is being conducted in 12,190 polling stations. The prominent candidates in this phase include Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi, who is fighting from Titabar. He is logged in a battle against BJP MP Kamakhya Prasad Tasha. BJP CM candidate Sarbanand Sonowal is contesting from Majoli. The ruling Congress, BJP, AGP, BPF alliance and the AIUDF are logged in a keen battle in the state that has a total of 126 constituencies. Security has been tightened with the Indo-Bangla border along the Barak Valley's Karimganj district sealed and more than 53,000 security personnel deployed. More than 48,000 polling personnel have also been deployed. The Congress is contesting in all the 65 constituencies in the first phase, while the BJP is contesting in 54 and its alliance partners AGP in 11 and the BPF in 3 seats. The AIUDF is contesting in 27, the CPI and the CPM in 10 each, with CPI-ML in 6, along with 60 others of unrecognized parties and 13 independents.
65 assembly constituencies will be covered in the first phase. And these 65 assembly constituencies will fall in 28 election districts and 17 revenue districts.
And for more on that development, let's go across to our correspondent Vishal Daya, who's been in Assam traveling through these constituencies. Vishal, a very good morning. Big day for Assam today. 65 constituencies in the fray, including both CM candidates Tarun Gogoi and Sarbanand Sonowal. Take us through the security arrangements and the mood in the state.
Well, yes, you're right. In fact, not only the two chief ministerial candidates from both the national parties, BJP and Congress, but apart from that, 537 more candidates are in fray, as you said, and their fate will be decided by the voters. The voting has begun at 7 a.m. and, as you would have seen in the visuals since morning, there is a long queue of people since 7 a.m. Itself. In fact, there were some people who were lined up even before that to cast their vote. So, in effect, it seems that the voter mood is pretty much, very enthusiastic out here. They do want to come out and cast their vote. As far as security arrangements are concerned, Tina, a lot of efforts have been made by the district administration officials as well as the election commission officials to ensure that adequate security is provided to the polling booths, to the polling parties. And, right now we are in Jorhat town, but then the polling stations which are nearby the border areas, there are certain polling booths which lie on the Assam-Nagaland border.
Right.
Adequate security arrangements have been made in those places as well. The Election Commission has ensured that not only the state police, but also the central paramilitary forces are in place. to give security cover to those particular polling booths, and also the the polling parties, when they come back in the evening, along with the EVM machines, they will be provided adequate securities till they reach strong room. As far as the political situation is concerned, Tina, well, this particular area wherein the first phase of polling is taking place, that's 65 seats. If you look at the trend in the last two elections, then Congress did have a hold in these areas, securing more than 50% of the seats in previous assembly elections. But the scenario changed in the Lok Sabha elections. The BJP gained a specific foothold in a majority of the assembly seats, and now, along with the AGP as their alliance partner, the BJP wants to cash in on that. Particular foothold which they gained in the Lok Sabha polls. And this time around, it is going to be an interesting contest. Given the fact that while the Congress would want to keep the fort to itself, the BJP would like to gain on the momentum which it sort of had in 2014 Lok Sabha polls.
Certainly, Vishal, as you rightly pointed out. So it's going to be an interesting contest in Assam. Vishal, also I would like to ask you, you've been traveling across the state in the past few days. It's up against Tarun Gogoi, who's a veteran in the state 3 times, and now he's seeking a 4th term, against Sarbanand Sonowal, who's, of course, testing waters for the first time. So how do you see this context? Of course, there have also been close aides of the Congress who parted ways and joined the rival camp.
Well, yes, indeed. It is going to be a tough task ahead for Tarun Gogoi and the Congress party seeking mandate for the 4th consecutive term. And the anti-incumbency factor will definitely play a major role. But then, as you pointed out, the leaders moving in from one political party to another is also a very big factor in these elections. In fact, Sarbanand Sonowal, who is the BJP's chief ministerial candidate, was not long ago part of the AGP. And this time around, the AGP and BJP are contesting elections in alliance with each other. But then there are several leaders who have moved in from AGP to BJP, contesting on now BJP symbol. And there are leaders from Congress as well who moved into the BJP camp. So this exchange of leaders between the political parties has happened at a larger level in the state of Assam. But yes, indeed, the anti-incumbency factor is one which is at play, and definitely the Congress in the entire campaign we've seen had tried to sort of counter that particular factor by listing out the achievements of its government since the last 15 years. But let's wait and watch. It's 65 seats today, and then again 61 seats on 11th. And then it'll be again another more than a month before we get to know as to what the voters have decided finally in the state of Assam.
Right, Vishal. Many thanks for now. We'll come back to you in the subsequent bulletins to get more details as to what's happening in Assam. Meanwhile, moving on, voting is also underway for the first phase of elections in West Bengal. This is the first of the 6 phases of elections in the state. 18 seats in the Maoist-affected areas are going to polls today. 133 candidates are trying their luck in constituencies falling under the districts of West Midnapur, Purulia and Bankura. Out of these, 13 have been roughly classified as left-wing extremism-affected areas by the Election Commission, where voting will end early by 4 p.m. due to security reasons. In the remaining 5 constituencies, voting will go on for 2 hours extra till 6 p.m. The Election Commission has multiple layers of security in place to avoid any untoward incident during polling in these Maoist-affected tribal Jungle Mahal area on Monday, with a tight aerial surveillance by choppers and deployment of several companies of Central Armed Police Forces. And to give more details on what's happening in West Bengal, we're being joined by our correspondent Pranav Goswami. Pranav, good morning to you. Take us through the arrangements in West Bengal, considering elections in these 18 seats, 13 are Maoist affected. In fact, as the Election Commission has categorized them as left-wing extremism affected areas. So take us through the security arrangements in this highly crucial belt.
Yeah, you rightly said, and the security arrangements are very tight in this region. We all know that these districts used to be Maoist affected areas, and that is the reason that extra security forces have been deployed in this particular region. For aerial surveillance helicopter are monitoring the entire election process, and in 153 polling stations which are most critical are being monitored by a live webcast. And I'll just show you the pictures. You can see that people are since morning are in queue and they are waiting for their turn. But they are very disappointed. They are very angry. The reason is that those who are on polling duty in this polling station are saying that EVM machine are not working, and this sort of reports are coming from other polling station also. We've got people here, we've got voters here. We'll just try to talk to them. ये बताइए सुबह से क्या हुआ? आप लोग सुबह से है, अभी तक क्यों नहीं वोट दे पाए?
बोगस टीम एंगेज किया है इधर, बोगस टीम है इधर, वो मशीन नहीं ठीक कर चला सकते हैं, नहीं हम लोग खड़े हो।
आप बताइए क्या है, सुबह से क्यों नहीं आप लोग खड़े हैं, क्यों नहीं वोट दे पा रहे?
वोट नहीं दे सकते, इधर मशीन खराब है, बहुत देर से यहाँ पर खड़ा हूँ।
Voting has started from morning 7, but it has not started taking place yet. So this shows the picture, and this sort of complaints are coming from other polling stations also. As far as political issues are concerned, we all know that this particular region was initially was dominated by a left front. But in 2011 election, TMC won 9 seats out of 18 seats with alliance with the Congress. Congress won 3 seats. But after the death of Kishanji, who was a top leader of Maoist movement, this entire left extremism movement became very weak. But then also there are still some small Maoist groups which they are trying to disturb this entire election process. Right. As far as issues are concerned, this entire election is the corruption is the main issue. If we talk about Sarda chit fund scam or Narda sting. Mamata Banerjee is claiming that she did development work in this region that never took place during left government. But opposition parties are alleging that this entire area is lacking the basic facilities. People are deprived with the basic amenities. So these are the issues for opposition parties. But ruling party is very optimistic that time also they'll win. But BJP is also trying very hard to get some support from this region.
Yeah, so interesting contest there, and as our reporter pointed out, some problems being faced in Purulia at the polling stations. Hopefully the polling officials will fix that problem, and we'll of course keep going back to our correspondents to get the latest as the day progresses. That's it in this segment. We'll move on to the other big story later. And moving on to Jammu and Kashmir now, the wait for the state will be over today as Mehbooba Mufti will be sworn in as the first woman Muslim chief minister of the state. Her path, the alliance partner, the BJP in fact, and the PDP is unlikely to make changes in its earlier team, but its alliance partner BJP may drop one of its independent members from the Council of Ministers that will take oath along with her. Governor N.N. Bora will administer the oath of office and secrecy to 56-year-old Mehbooba, who will be the 13th Chief Minister of the state, along with 16 cabinet ministers and 8 ministers of states. 2 of them from the BJP will be given independent charge. Mehbooba will become the country's second woman Muslim Chief Minister after Saida Anwara Taimur, who became Assam's Chief Minister on the 6th of December 1980 and continued in office till the 30th of June 1981. Union Ministers Venkaiah Naidu and Jitendra Singh are special invitees for the oath ceremony, which will also be attended by former Chief Ministers Farooq Abdullah and his son Omar Abdullah. Mehbooba has telephoned the Abdullahs and extended them an invite for the ceremony. The Congress, however, has decided to stay away from the oath-taking ceremony.
बहुत अच्छा माहौल है देखिए, अभी हम देख रहे हैं कि जम्मू कश्मीर में जो आम जनता है वो बहुत खुश है कि कल पुनः भारतीय जनता पार्टी और पीडीपी की सरकार बनने जा रही है, और वो सरकार बनने जा रही है जिसने पिछले 10 महीनों में अच्छा डेवलपमेंट का एक दौर शुरू किया था। तो मुझे लगता है कि ये जो सरकार है अच्छी सरकार बनेगी और 5 साल तक चलेगी और लोगों की आशाओं पर खरा उतरेगी।
और आने वाले दिनों में ये सरकार कितनी टिकाऊ होगी और कितना एक दूसरे को सहयोग करेगी भारतीय जनता पार्टी और पीडीपी, ये कहना मुश्किल है।
With that, time for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side. Do stay with us.
From 91 onwards, we're a much more open economy, and we've benefited from it.
We made a mistake because we should have first had a GST in place.
I mean, an effort was made to put GST in place 5 years ago. What is the lesson? The lesson is let's get it done now. The entrepreneurs very often come to the bank in a Fiat in order to get a loan. And then when they need it to be restructured, they come in a Mercedes.
Watch Montek Ahluwalia articulate his views on state of the economy only on Rajya Sabha television.
Thanks for staying with us on Breakfast News. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has returned to Delhi after his fruitful 3-nation tour of Belgium, the United States and finally Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, the Prime Minister held extensive talks with King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, during which they agreed to strengthen cooperation in key areas, including combating terrorism. The two countries signed 5 pacts, including one on having cooperation in the exchange of intelligence related to money laundering, terror financing and other related crimes. On his maiden 2-day visit to Saudi Arabia, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met the top leadership of the oil-rich country and held wide-ranging talks on ways to bolster the strategic partnership between both countries. In his meeting with Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz, Prime Minister Modi discussed trade, investment and counter-terrorism, apart from other areas of mutual interest. The two leaders agreed to enhance cooperation in counter-terrorism operations, intelligence sharing and capacity building to strengthen cooperation in law enforcement, anti-money laundering, drug trafficking and other transnational crimes. At least 5 MOUs were also signed between both countries.
संबंधों की हर कड़ी में अभूतपूर्व प्रगति के मार्ग खुले हैं। कई बातों पर सहमति हुई है। सऊदी में भारतीय नागरिकों, खासतौर पर ब्लू कॉलर वर्कफोर्स का वेलफेयर, सुरक्षा संबंधों में गहनता, काउंटर टेररिज्म जो कि हमारी सांझी चुनौती है, पर सहयोग पर हमारी सहमति, एनर्जी, सिक्योरिटी, ट्रेड, टेक्नोलॉजी और इन्वेस्टमेंट में तेज गति से तीव्र विकास, क्षेत्रीय स्थिरता तथा सुरक्षा पर विचारों का हमारा आदान प्रदान एक नई सुदृढ़ता और एक नई ऊर्जा लेकर भारत सऊदी कोऑपरेशन एक नई ऊंचाई के लिए और अग्रसर हो रहा है।
Earlier, Prime Minister Modi called on the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Nayef, who is also the country's interior minister, apart from Foreign Minister Adel Al-Jubair, as well as Khalid Al-Fali, the Minister of Health, who also heads the Saudi Arabian national oil company Aramco. Al-Fali told the Prime Minister that Aramco looks at India as its most preferred investment destination. Modi also met CEOs of top Saudi companies as well as Indian businessmen in the Gulf country and invited them to invest in India. He said the time has come to move from the buyer-seller relationship to chart a new path of growth and development which will benefit people of both sides.
हमारा ट्रेड एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट तक सीमित रहे, मैं समझता हूं वो कल की बात है। हमने बहुत कर लिया, अब हमने थोड़ा आगे बढ़ना चाहिए। हम सिर्फ बेचनार और खरीदनार बने रहेंगे तो मैं समझता हूं कि वो प्रगति के लिए रुकावट बन जाएगा। और उसके लिए हम जैसे भारत भारत को बहुत बड़ी मात्रा में फर्टिलाइजर की जरूरत है, आपको बहुत बड़ी मात्रा में फूड रिक्वायरमेंट्स है। दोनों को म्यूचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग से बनाया जा सकता है। अगर भारत में सस्ता फर्टिलाइजर मिलेगा तो सस्ता उत्पादन होगा, तो सस्ता एग्रीकल्चर आपको प्रोवाइड होगा, यानी एक विन-विन सिचुएशन।
Wooing investors with the promise of an easier business environment and stable tax regime, Modi said retrospective taxation has been made a thing of the past in India. He assured investors that the crucial GST bill will be passed and implemented soon.
आपको जीएसटी की चिंता है, आप जीएसटी की चिंता बिल्कुल मत कीजिए। जीएसटी होके रहेगा, मैं समय सीमा नहीं कह सकता हूं, लेकिन वो होके रहेगा, हमारा कमिटमेंट है और वो होने वाला है।
He also interacted with Saudi women IT professionals at the first of its kind all-women TCS training center in the heart of Riyadh. Modi invited the women to India, whom he described as the glory of the oil-rich country.
एक बहुत बड़ी खबर होगी कि मैं रियाद में उन आईटी प्रोफेशनल से मिला हूं जो आज एक प्रकार से सऊदी अरेबिया के आन बान और शान बन गए हैं।
Modi is the fourth Indian Prime Minister to visit Saudi Arabia after Manmohan Singh in 2010. His visit comes amid the current turmoil in the Middle East, when Saudi Arabia has been badly hit by a plunge in oil prices. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And just before his departure to Delhi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was conferred the oil-rich country's highest civilian honour, the King Abdulaziz Sash. He was presented the award by King Salman bin Abdulaziz at the Royal Court. The coveted award is named after Abdulaziz Al Saud, the founder of the modern Saudi state. Other notable recipients of this honour are US President Barack Obama, British Prime Minister David Cameron, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and Indonesian President Joko Widodo. And on to some other big national news. A probe has begun into the shooting of a National Investigation Agency officer by two unidentified attackers near Bijnor in UP Saturday night. The NIA says it was a planned murder. Investigators are now looking at all possibilities, including terror links to the attack.
12 गोली तो रिकवर्ड हुई हैं बॉडी से, और जो कुल मिला के आर पार जो हुई हैं वो 9, 12 और 9 21 और 3 रगड़ गए इधर से। किस किस बोर की गोली हैं ये? मेरे ख्याल से तो अभी कहा तो नहीं जा सकता, लेकिन 9 mm की हैं।
Post-mortem confirming a National Investigation Agency officer was shot dead. Deputy SP Mohammad Tanzil was attacked by two unidentified attackers near his hometown of Bijnor in Uttar Pradesh early Sunday. The officer was travelling with his wife, who was also injured in the attack, and children in a car. His body was brought to his home in Delhi on Sunday evening.
कोई ये संबंधित अधिकारियों से हमारी बातचीत हुई है और पूरी उसके संबंध में एक कम्प्रिहेंसिव रिपोर्ट, कुछ हमारी टीम गई है वहाँ पर इस मामले की जांच करने के लिए, उसके बाद रिपोर्ट हमको देंगे।
Tanzil was from Border Security Force and had joined NIA 6 years ago on deputation. Soon after the incident, the state's borders were sealed. Although the officer was not a part of the ongoing Pathankot terror attack investigation, NIA has claimed it was a planned murder.
NIA officer is not safe in this country. In the state of UP, for example, he's killed while on duty. It's very shocking indeed. It reflects on the law and order situation, and I think the security cover required for an NIA officer while he's investigating a case, I think needs to be stepped up, because this is a very serious matter. An NIA officer is doing his duty for the country. He is investigating a matter, and if his protection is not taken care of, these are serious matters that the central government and the UP government must answer.
जो NIA के जो ऑफिसर तंजीम साहब की हत्या हुई है बहुत दुखद है, उसकी पूरी जांच होगी और जो लोग शामिल हैं उनके खिलाफ सख्त कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए। ये सही है कि आज के माहौल में NIA बहुत कठिन परिस्थिति में काम करता है और बहुत अच्छा काम करता है, तो उनके ऑफिसर की इस तरह की हत्या बहुत दुखद है।
The NIA officer's killing has put Uttar Pradesh's law and order situation under a cloud. Security agencies are now probing all possibilities, including terror links to the attack. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And on to some sports news now. It was double jubilation for the West Indies team as both women's team as well as the men's team lifted the World T20 trophy. Powerful half-centuries from Hayley Matthews and skipper Stephanie Taylor fired the West Indies to their maiden Women's World T20 crown in a thrilling last-over win against Australia. Chasing a competitive 149 against the three-time champions, West Indies had a dream start with a 120-run opening stand. Wild celebrations erupted from the Caribbean duo as Brittany Cooper hit the winning runs to script a new chapter in the Windies women's cricket. Earlier, after electing to bat, Australia posted 148 for 5 against a sloppy West Indies fielding display. The Aussies lost opener Aliza Healy early, but a 77-run second-wicket partnership between skipper Meg Lanning and Elise Villani set the tone for a formidable score.
When you wake up in the morning, you're going to be like, no cricket to go and play. And when you look at I know when I look at my trophy, I'm going to be like, it's really, is this real? When you touch down in the Caribbean, I think that's when it's going to, really hit you.
With both Caribbean men and women's side lifting the trophy, West Indies completed a rare hat-trick as the under-19 boys too lifted the Youth World Cup in February. And on the men's side, Carlos Braithwaite hit 4 consecutive sixes in the last over as West Indies stunned England to lift the World T20 title in Kolkata. Marlon Samuels anchored the West Indies run chase of 156 with an unbeaten 85 runs. Now with the title, West Indies became the first side to win the World T20 title twice. So, an interesting match last evening. The West Indies men's side were anchored to victory by Marlon Samuels, who also won the man of the tournament. In a consolation for India, Virat Kohli was named the man of the tournament. That's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.